I'm going to be sure I get this right. Dr. C.B. Pratt.
That's correct.
Hey, welcome in. Happy New Year, I guess.
I guess, getting close.
Since we're past
getting close.
Christmas, am I not allowed to say it?
Sounds good.
Retired U.S. Air Force Colonel. And I love this. Turned real-life treasure hunter.
Yes.
So what exactly does that mean, Doctor?
Well, I've been treasure hunting. I mean, we've all been treasure hunting probably since we were kids. I really got seriously into it when Forrest Fenn put out his treasure. You guys are probably aware of that 12, 13 years ago. Mm-hmm. It was finally found in 2022, I believe. But I had a solution that was very close to that. So I knew my analytics were pretty close to right on as far as, using my methodology to find research. And so, that's when I kind of got into this. And it actually started when my daughter gave me W.C. Jameson's book, Lost Treasures of American History. Huh. And I'm a history guy. I have a master's in U.S. military history. I teach history sometimes. So just to see a couple of these stories, I was like, wow, I could, with my research methodology, I could put some locations on some of these treasures, and so then it just became an addiction.
Well, I was going to ask you because it's kind of like putting puzzle pieces together that kind of leads you to a map, right?
It is. My methodology, I call it the 90% rule, and it really is diving deep into these stories. These stories have lived in different journals, newspapers and authors' stories for the past 150 years, and so putting together all of their different stories and then coming up with a new analysis and then using a deeper analysis, which I've used in military planning for the last 20, 30 years, and I teach in my different courses, is to really get into the who, what, where, when, and why, and how, and to really dive deep into these to find out, are these still actionable treasures? Are they still exist, and where might they be?
Let me ask you this real quick, because you've ever played that game Telephone when you were a kid, where someone starts with a sentence and it goes down the line, and by the time it gets to the end person, it's all convoluted and crazy. How do you? Because I feel like that's kind of history a little bit when it comes to something like this. How do you make sure?
Yeah, that's
factual. It's factual.
That's historiography 101, really. I mean, centuries of telephone. How do you get past that? Well, a lot of these stories that you see in treasure hunting books or whatever, they're handed down through generations, and so you got to really go back to the characters and the time and the environment. I call it the environmental scanning. Is like, let's go back to the time, the environment. Where was this from? Who did it? Are there journals? Is there any early type of transcripts or interviews or some sort of journals, photos, you name it. But then, stories, even though they may have been handed down through telephone, they have an element of truth.
Yeah.
And it's finding that element of truth and then bringing that out and researching that element to go, oh, I get it now, and that's where it is.
That's your little nugget.
That's your nugget. Yeah, I don't need the whole story to be correct. I just need a small part. And I've got several examples throughout my 3 volumes that talk about, things like that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You mentioned is it the Forrest Fenn?
Forrest Fenn,
the treasure hunters. Talk a little bit about that, because I'm not sure if many people are familiar and how that led to the way you develop theories. Yeah,
Forrest Fenn, he was a retired colonel out of New Mexico, El Paso, I think, or somewhere close. And he hid $1 million worth of treasure. And he wrote a poem, basically to sell his memoirs. So he put the poem in his memoirs to sell it. And then if you read the poem and understood his book and understood him, he would basically lead you to the treasure. It was worth $1 million.
Wow.
300,000 people joined in this hunt over a course of 10 years. 300,000. It went crazy. And so that's kind of, I got into the hunt that way, and then I started understanding that my methodologies were bringing me close to these targets. And so that's when I said, hey, maybe I got something here.
How did you
24 line poem.
Yeah, 24-line poem.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, and it was found, and it was exciting.
Where was it?
It was just in
In his backyard.
No. So right outside of Yellowstone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right outside of Yellowstone,
wow.
right alongside.
Yeah, look at that.
I believe it was the Madison River.
Oh, cool.
And so it used to be a place where he used to go fishing. In fact, it was 500 yards from a fishing hole he basically lived at when he was a kid.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is
This
cool.
is so neat.
Yeah.
Well, how did you develop your methodology in order to kind of crack some of these cases?
Well, I call it the 90% rule. I wrote a 4th book, so I got 3 volumes of.
Here, let's hold them up so people can see what they look like.
These are the 3 volumes.
Kind of right here. So people can see.
My final book is called Decoding America's Lost and Hidden Treasure, and that is my methodology to how I came up with these. So it really is really understanding the story, the characters in the story, the time of the story. Is this 1800s, 1700s? Where's this location? Is this a train robbers that are escaping a posse, or is it the Union soldiers hiding the lost payroll, right? So, I mean, every story is different and unique, but they all have an element of, I know you can find it.
Yeah.
There's clues, right? And this 90% rule is all about, before you even pick up a shovel, you got to do all of this research. Get the old USGS maps, bring out the Google Earth, bring out LiDAR, muography, whatever these tools that you can use to hone in on where these target zones should be. Then you're not out just scanning, looking for something, spending tons of time and dollars, on something that you're wasting your time. You got to do the research first. That's the 90%.
That's what I was going to ask you when you're talking about treasures, and you pretty much answered it. What kind of treasures are we talking about? Like an actual pot of gold?
Oh yeah.
And people really do go around the world. These aren't just Hollywood movies we're watching.
These are not. These are real treasures in the ground. And these 58
Tell
stories.
us where.
Well, I'm going to my wife and I are heading out to Montana next week on a hunt that I'm pretty
cool.
I think I'm pretty close
What
on
can
it.
you tell us about it?
You can give it away.
Well, I'm not. I mean,
Okay,
you want to tell us
hold
where.
on. How about
but
this? Why don't you come back?
Oh.
When you're back from it.
I will
Let us
do that
know.
because I'll tell you what, it's exciting. I've been working on this solution for about a year.
Wow.
And I think I'm closer than anyone.
How do you
on it.
find out about these treasures?
That's what I was going to ask you. Where do you get that first
Well,
little
gosh,
nugget?
people have been writing about treasures all the time, but they don't give solutions. They just give the story. I'm actually giving solutions. I've done the 90% here. So if you read these stories, I've done all the research. I actually give you coordinates.
I'll just take all 3
I actually give you
copies.
target coordinates, and I give you all my analysis, my statistical analysis, my mapping analysis. It's all in these books.
Why are you doing that if you could just go find it yourself?
Because I can't find all these 58. And I was in Saudi Arabia when I wrote all these. And so, I'm like, and that's why I called it If I Were You, because I'm in Saudi Arabia. I can't go on these hunts. But if I were you, I would go here. Right? And
Where should we go?
it's right in the books. I'll leave these here for you.
This. How fun.
Forget about the lotto ticket.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, though, like, how do you not get your hopes up, though?
Oh, excellent
Because I
question.
can only imagine that you're, like, so hyped up. You and your wife are taking the time and
Excited
money
to
to go to
go.
Montana. And I hope you find it. I really do. But what if you don't? Like, how do you kind of, I guess, tamper expectations?
Here's what I love about it. Really, part of the intangible treasure is the journey itself.
Yeah.
It's getting out there and actually
good
doing
answer.
a hunt.
Yeah.
And that's what I found most fulfilling. I don't need the money, but man, finding treasure would be great. But you know what? Finding yourself in these journeys on what you can accomplish and the things you see in the history that
you
you're
learn.
steeped
That's
in.
the real treasure, isn't it?
It is the
What
real
you find
treasure.
inside. That's that goes along with like resolutions and goals and stuff like that.
We've always heard since I moved here, people were talking about the Lost Dutchman gold.
Yes.
Do you think
I
that there's
really want to
gold
do a
out
book
there?
on that. I have studied Lost Dutchman gold out here in the Superstition Mountains for many years. It's captivated me. I didn't include it in this 3-volume series only because it would take an entire volume on its own.
Really?
And there's just all these myth and legends about how it's protected by this, secret military organization, whatever. And listen, I was colonel in the Air Force.
Yeah.
Like I know what's out there, what's not out there. And so I kind of want to demystify some of this stuff and de-scarify, I guess, some of
You
it.
think there's something out there, though?
I definitely think there's something there. Listen, there wouldn't be this many rumors and stories. Listen, they may be stories, they may be myths, they may be legends, but they have a grain of truth in them. Yeah, there's something there, or it wouldn't continue to be there. So
We're wrapping up. We have about 40 seconds. How do people find you? How do they buy your book?
yeah, go to cvpratt.com. fieldwork.com.
Okay.
That's my website, and you're able to go from there to Amazon. It's also on Amazon, and just go to my website, and it'll point you to different versions.
What a cool job in life you
Really
have.
quick, someone says, tell him I found a place on the Peralta map.
Peralta's map? Yeah, okay, yeah.
I don't know what that means, but that's a comment I'm sharing with you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, appreciate that.
It was nice to meet you. Thanks so much
Nice
for
to meet
coming
you.
in.
Come back
Good
if you
luck.
find
Yeah,
your
please
treasure.
Thanks so much. I'd love to come back.
Even if you don't.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
and enjoy these.